What is going on, everyone? My name is Eric and you're watching the Get Me Out of Here vlog. Today I'm in the town of Deadwood, South Dakota, a Wild West town that back in the late 1800s, early 1900s ran rampant with gunslingers, prostitution, gambling, and all kinds of crazy things. This was a big gold mining town, and I'm on a mission. So to be clear, my brother Connor is with me. What's going on, Connor? He's along for the ride, but he's kind of on the mission too. I'm also driving. He's also driving me because I don't want to drink and drive. But I'm on a mission to have a beer at the oldest bar of all 50 states of the United States, and that is what brings me here to the town of Deadwood. Again, the oldest bar in South Dakota is right across the street from me here. Currently it says Steakhouse Saloon, but this was opened back in 1877. The original owner, his name was Mike Russell. He came into town on a stagecoach in March of 1877 and opened up this bar at this very location in June of that same year in the old Wild West days. So we are going to go in, we're going to have a beer. I'm going to see if they have any South Dakota beers to enjoy, and we're going to dig a little deeper in the history of this really awesome looking bar here on the main streets of Deadwood. So this bar right here that says Steakhouse Saloon, that sign is extremely old, but this is the original building. And they've added on, so there's actually like 3 or 4 other buildings next door that also have the Bodega sign on it. But the original bar was called the Buffalo Bar, and Mike Russell, the owner, named it after one of his good friends, Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill Cody was a frontiersman and a famous entertainer with his Buffalo Bill Wild West shows that swept the nation in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna have a beer at the oldest bar of South Dakota. The sign there in the front states Deadwood's oldest bar, which means it's South Dakota's oldest bar as well. There is another bar that we're going to be checking out tonight too that is called Saloon No. 10. Now it's my understanding that this Saloon No. 10 is not the original one. There's one down the street, but that is where Wild Bill Hickock was shot and killed playing poker. So that's another old bar that I do want to showcase in this video. But first, we have to have a beer at the oldest. So here we go, walking in. And right away, you can tell the atmosphere in here is just incredible. You can feel the nostalgia. Lots of Wild West art and theming, and lots of Buffalo theming too. And how cool is this? It's a buffalo made out of buffalo nickels. Check this out. If I zoom in, these are actual buffalo nickels. That is really cool. Adorning the walls are buffalo skulls, or maybe cow skulls, I can't tell, but either way, it's fitting for the theme. And even looking up at the ceiling, there's buffalo made out of rope. That is freaking cool. So a lot of buffalo theming here, which is appropriate. Again, this bar is named after Buffalo Bill Cody. And check out this old photo, if I get the glare right. This is a photo from 1888 of this very bar. Take a look at that. There's the spittoon for all that spit and tobacco. And there's the bar right there. Pool table in the back. And there's a story behind this. There's a fully taxidermied buffalo right there that was actually a gift from Buffalo Bill to the bar. Unfortunately, the bar does not have the buffalo anymore, but it's really cool that they actually have a photo of that as a tribute. All right, Connor, well, we're here, the oldest bar in South Dakota, and we're having a local beer, so that's one thing we like to do when we're visiting the oldest bars of each state. We like to represent the local breweries, and this one here is out of Rapid City. This is called Bruce Banner, and the brewery is called Lost Cabin. They've got this on tap. So cheers, Connor. Cheers. To the Mount Rushmore State. Oh, I didn't tap down drink. There we go. This is an excellent APA. Not an IPA. It's American made, so they call this an American Pale Ale. So cheers to that. Good stuff.
Last time, They played really well.
Above the stage in the back of the room, there's this neon clock with the original name of the bar, Buffalo Bar. Love that. Check out this sign there, the Buffalo Bodega Complex. And this place is huge. There is way more to this than I thought. Look at this room. And apparently they have prime rib dinners here as well.
They're also advertising the Tower Run.
Are they really? Oh, this is cool. This place is just huge. I had no idea how big this was. And check it out, they do have a fully stuffed buffalo on display. That's not the original one that was gifted from Buffalo Bill, but they do have one here on display, so that's awesome to see. Oh, and look, no way. We just did the Devil's Tower yesterday. We didn't do the run, but there is a Devil's Tower run that they're showing here as well. That's in the neighboring state of Wyoming. It's only about hour and a half west of here. But my brother and I actually visited Devil's Tower. I can link that video at the end of this. And we did the hike. And right there is a picture of the original owner, the founder of this very bar. That is Mike Russell, that wild mustache. And right next to that is a photo of Buffalo Bill Cody. Again, Buffalo Bill was probably the greatest entertainer of the 19th century. He had a Wild West show that traveled not only all of the United States, but Canada and even Europe, that sold to millions. He entertained millions, including at the Chicago World's Fair of 1893. I've actually done a lot of videos on Buffalo Bill. I visited his gravesite in Colorado, and I can link that at the end of this one as well, but a lot of amazing Wild West history here at this bar. And it's cool that they're paying tribute to him, because he was a good friend of the owner, Mike Russell. All right, so some dark stuff here, but this is history that's happened at the bar, and this is very recent history, but I was talking to one of the chefs that work here, asked him if there's any paranormal things that have happened, and he said 4 years ago, this is a true story, he said 4 years ago there was a girl that got in a fight with her boyfriend here at this bar, and she pulled a gun out and shot herself in the head and killed herself at this table right here. Right here that my brother's walking by. Hey, you're blocking my shot. He's blocking my, I shouldn't be laughing because it's dark, but it's not this exact table, but this where this table is located, right here next to the edge of the bar, is where this happened. And apparently this girl was troubled. She attempted to do that. She attempted to take her life at Walmart previously before that, but she came here and was unfortunately successful. But it was at this location right here, and they have had some strange occurrences happen since they hear voices at night, and they've seen things moving around across the bar here at this location. So just some sad, more recent history, but something that is, it happened. So I'm just showcasing that right here. So walking back into the main bar, again, this section's newer, but this section here is the original bar. This is what dates back to 1877. Now this flooring, you can see how it changes. I can't tell you if this is the original floor from 1877. Odds are it's probably not, but it's been here for a long time. You can see how worn it is. A lot of feet, a lot of booze, a lot of shuffling has taken place on this floor over the years. And just so it's clear, this bar here is not original either, but it's been around for probably 50, 60, maybe 70 years. But it's an older bar, but not the original. So just want to point that out. This place is so much bigger than I even imagined. Not only is there the bar and the Prime Steak restaurant, they have a casino. But not only one casino, they have two casinos full of slot machines. South Dakota loves their electronic gambling. So there's no blackjack tables, there's no dealers, it's all electronic slot machines that they have here. But this place is huge. There's so much more here than I even imagined. The Buffalo Bodega, the oldest bar in the state of South Dakota, sells t-shirts and hats. In fact, there's a whole nother bar on the other side. There is like 4 or 5 different buildings in one here at the bodega. They got karaoke night, a lot of commercialized music. So keeping this short, but look at this place. It is alive and thriving. Look at the size of this freaking slot machine right here. So supposedly, this is the biggest working slot machine in the world. I don't know if that's true, but you know what I do know is I'm gonna play this today. Because look at the size of this slot machine.
Oh,
I don't know what that just did. What did that do?
that's good. That's really good. Wow.
$10. So I won $10. Take a look at that up on the, is it the 3rd or 4th floor? It's a bunch of cutout pictures of John Wayne. I think they're all John Wayne. I think that's all John Wayne. I'm really amazed by how many alleyways there are here in Deadwood, and a lot of these corners have historic signs. You can read up and learn more about the history of this lawless town. I also wanted to point out, look at this old burglar alarm. You don't see that anymore. Look at that. We are not done tonight. There's one more historic bar that I have to go to here in Deadwood. It's called currently the Wild Bill Bar, but initially this was called the Nuttall and Mann's Saloon, or better known as Saloon No. 10. And this is where Wild Bill Hickock was murdered by Jack McCall while playing poker. And this is also what created the infamous Dead Man's Hand. 2 8s and 2 aces, all black. So we're gonna go inside, have a beer, and explore some of this history of the Wild West, where gunslinger Wild Bill Hickock met his demise. Walking up, you can see historic site Saloon No. 10, where Wild Bill was shot August 2nd, 1876. Photo of Wild Bill Hickock looking like a badass, and next to that are revolvers, and that is the Dead Man's Hand. That's not the actual cards he was holding, but that's what he was when he was shot. 2 black aces and 2 black 8s. That is so cool. They've got that on display. Of course, this place has a gift shop as well, with t-shirts, shot glasses, coffee mugs, beer glasses, hats, magnets, stickers, you name it, to show that you've been to the notorious Saloon No. 10 and had a beer here, where Wild Bill Hickock was killed. So what's super cool here is that they actually offer fermented liquor and not distilled liquor, because that's kind of what they had back in 1876. I know it's super loud. There's an awesome band playing. But Connor, we got some fermented whiskey to drink like they did in the old Wild West days. So cheers. Oh yeah, that doesn't have the sting to it.
Yeah, it's like really light whiskey.
Yeah, it's super light whiskey. That's weird. Interesting. So it doesn't have that burn in your throat like you feel today. So I'm not saying that they were sissies back then, because clearly they weren't. I mean, they fought freaking grizzly bears with their hands, were at war on the frontier, and fired guns and murdered each other. So they weren't sissies, but this is kind of weak. A little smoother. Yeah. Anyway, cheers everyone. Drinking old school Wild West whiskey. What an amazing bar here. This is where it all happened. This is where Jack McCall shot Wild Bill Hickock in the back of the head while he was playing poker. Again, that's where Dead Man's Hand was coined. The 2 aces, 2 eights. And we did get to go downstairs. They wouldn't let us film. I did sneak a little bit of footage in here so you can see it, but I didn't speak down there. But this is the very bar, the original location of Saloon Number 10. And that is something that you need to keep in mind, because here in Deadwood, there's another Saloon Number 10 that claims to be the original, but that is not the case. You need to look for the one that actually has the historic site sign listed in front of it, because this is the actual spot where Wild Bill Hickock was shot in the back of the head and killed. So this is the very spot. So if you're confused, look for the historic site saloon sign right there, and that's the OG. Now that being said, the other one supposedly has a chair that's hanging, and that is supposed to be the chair that he sat in. So we're going to quickly go over to the other location to see this chair, and then we'll be wrapping this up. But there's a lot of things going on here in Deadwood, a lot of history with the bars. Again, this was a wild, crazy town. It still is a wild, crazy town, but not as much as it used to be back in the late 1800s. So we're going to go check that out, see the chair, and then we'll wrap this up. So here we go. So this is the other Saloon Number 10. This is not the original location where Wild Bill Hickock was shot, but they do have the chair inside this one. And if you're confused, the fake one is across the street from the oldest bar that we were documenting earlier, the Bodega. So definitely pop in if you want to see the chair, but otherwise, if you want to see the actual historical spot, it's just a couple blocks down the street. So here it is on display, literally above the front door. But this is the original chair that Wild Bill Hickock was shot in the back of the head and murdered in. On display, look at that. The original chair literally sitting right above the door. Wild Bill Hickock's death chair. Right again above the front door of this second bar called Number 10 Saloon. Here's a picture of Wild Bill Hickock's tomb at Mount Moriah Cemetery here in Deadwood. The cemetery is closed right now, so I can't show it to you, but this is what the tomb looks like. He's buried near Calamity Jane, another famous gunslinger of the Wild West. Well, that is the Buffalo Bodega. I'm like crossing the main street here in Deadwood, so I don't want to get hit by a car, but look at this place. This place is huge. Again, like 4 different structures they've got. The oldest bar here, they've got a prime steak dinner place. They've got casinos, they've got slot machines, they got all kinds of fun here in Deadwood, South Dakota. Again, the oldest bar. Amazing. So again, I have a journey ahead of me, but I'm glad to cross out the state of South Dakota. What an amazing bar here. A lot of history, a lot of Wild West gunslinger history, but an amazing town. I have to say, if anybody has ever thought or not thought about coming to South Dakota, this is one of my all-time favorite states. And Deadwood is one of the greatest American towns, in my opinion. It's full of gunslinger history, Wild West history, and it's still alive and thriving. And if you like to gamble, you like to go out and party, like to grab some good food, stay in some historic hotels or do some ghost tours, this is prime place to be. So thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the oldest bar in the state of South Dakota, the Buffalo Bodega. A lot of history. I hope you enjoyed it. But this is Eric. It's time for me to get out of here. Thanks for watching.